It is I, Megatron. Hear me, humans. You're now watching Science Productions. Transform and rise up.
Yo guys, what is up, and welcome to the official spoiler review for Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So if you do not want to get spoiled, I advise you click off this video right now because I'm going to be getting right into it. Come back after you've seen the movie and let me know your thoughts about what I have to say now, and let me know in the comments down below. But if you don't want to be spoiled, I would advise you click off now. And the first thing I do have to do, just to get out of the way, is I do indeed want to revise the rating I was giving in my quick 3-minute first reaction review. As soon as I walked out of the theater yesterday, I was rating this movie an 8/8.5. I do have to bump it down just a little bit. It's not anything serious, just I want to bump it down to a 7.5 to 8. And that is just because, although I really like this movie, there are some more criticisms I do have that I will go into in this video. But overall, still a great Transformers movie, one of the best, but I cannot, my personal rating isn't as high as I initially walked out of it with. And I guess this is still subject to change because still, technically, the official release date is tomorrow. I'm seeing the movie again tonight for the kind of premiere once again, because of course, movies premiere a day before the actual release date. But again, just getting out of the way, spoilers incoming, and let's just get right into it. I still think that this was a good movie, and I still think it is one of the best Transformers movies. Would I put it above Bumblebee? No. I would say Bumblebee is still the best, followed by 2007. Then I would probably put this, and then Dark of the Moon. Maybe Dark of the Moon interchangeable, but again, that's my personal decision there. But this movie, I want to say, first off, let's go through the characters. Optimus Prime, he definitely has an arc in this movie where he goes from not caring at all about the humans, wanting to stay away from them, and just wanting to get back to Cybertron, to kind of becoming the Prime we know, where he is fighting for the freedom and safety of all sentient life. And it's really heavy on the whole "till all are one" thing, where literally him, Noah, and Primal are all saying it to each other at the end, as Noah saves Optimus Prime from getting sucked into the collapsing portal from the transwarp key collapsing as Unicron gets pulled out of their universe. But Prime, I do have to say, this is the one thing that was sticking out to me. He is definitely less, I would say, even though he has like that arc in this movie, he's not as complex of an Optimus, I think, as what we got in the Bayverse. And I think we can hope to develop him more, but I'm still thinking that the Bayverse Optimus was more of a grounded Optimus, at least in the first movie. This one definitely felt like it was a lot less focused on him. Every moment where there was Optimus was great, but he was definitely not the focal point. It didn't really feel like the focal point stuck on any one character in particular. It kind of bounced around with all of them. Mirage was great. Pete Davidson as Mirage was great, just like everyone else has said. He was definitely the highlight Autobot character. His personality was great because Prime was definitely more militaristic, and it was funny when Mirage was definitely like the outlier from the Autobot group. B, like I said in my first reaction video, B was definitely my favorite just because I loved his quips using his radio, and his scene where he comes back is great, even though I do have my issues with that whole revival scene. It's funny because B kind of like dies, or I guess kind of gets knocked out, I guess, if you don't want to say he full on dies in the Bumblebee movie, but he pretty much dies in that movie before he gets revived. Not really, I mean, I don't think he really dies with the whole thing with Charlie. But he kind of, so I guess we could say he dies in the B movie, gets revived, and dies in this movie, gets revived. We knew it was going to happen, but we didn't know the fashion it was going to happen in. And he pretty much got laid on a rock where there was energon rich in the ground that the Maximals knew about this area. And then when the transwarp key device was activated, it sent the pulses through the ground, which activated the energon on the rock that B was lying on, which brought him back to life, and then he jumped out of Stratosphere. Stratosphere, who I might add, was absolutely useless. He does not join in on the final battle at all. Doesn't help. Doesn't even join in after he drops off B. If that was his excuse, staying away to watch over B. So he was useless. The final battle was really cool. Like I said earlier, some of the best, if not the best, action sequences in all of Transformers. I still think the best is the forest battle, but this was the best action-filled Transformers movie, period. Some things that annoyed me, though, were at the museum battle. Some of the best moments, like we'd get some really cool sequences of the Transformers fighting, just to cut away back to the humans. And the humans, like I said, these were my favorite, or Noah was probably my favorite human character in the movies, or at least the most compelling human character. Shia LaBeouf is still my number one. Still love him the most, but Noah was definitely a character you could care for the most and get his motivations for the most, and he definitely was a character you wanted to root for. But still, I just feel like these movies, you don't need the humans, and it could have done with even less humans, because like some other reviewers have said, I do have to agree, the human story doesn't quite keep up with the Transformers story, and I do think it, in a 2-hour movie when we're trying to get a lot going on, like I said in my initial review, if this movie was a bit longer, I feel like it would be a lot better, because other characters got cut short, and I feel like a lot of the minutes given to humans could have been given to the other characters. I don't think Rhinox has a single line in this movie, and I think Cheetor has 3 lines, probably less than 10 total words. And it's a little disappointed, because a lot of the promos leading up, it was making it seem like a lot of the characters were going to be more in depth. Primal was great. Airrazor was pretty good. Arcee, I really liked Arcee. I really liked the voice acting of Arcee, and I was really nervous about how Liza Koshy would do. But I think Arcee was really great, even though she wasn't super prominent or anything. She was definitely probably my second favorite Autobot. It'd probably go B, Arcee, Mirage, Prime, and then Wheeljack. Wheeljack was completely an afterthought. Really kind of disappointed with Wheeljack. I was kind of neutral on him initially coming out, and then the more I think about it, it should have just been give him a different character name, give him a different character. That was just not Wheeljack. He didn't really have any significance. He had an accent, and he had kind of like a funny joke that I chuckled at with the whole with Noah assuming that he could speak Spanish, and like Mirage making a joke saying like, "Oh, are you racist? How can you be racist to a robot?" Noah says back, which was, I guess, a little chuckle thing, but still, that Wheeljack is just like, that wasn't Wheeljack. The design didn't really, I thought it would grow on me more in the movie, but he really didn't have any presence at all. He showed up in the back half of the movie and had a couple of scenes, but didn't really say or do anything. Rhinox, like I said, literally didn't say anything. He just was there to look cool, roar a little bit, and then he used his hammer to bash up some Scorponok and Terracon and Freezers. Scourge was a really strong, definitely the strongest Transformers villain we've seen. Definitely a very imposing threat. He just wiped the floor with pretty much everyone he fought until Prime finally got the better of him at the end. But Scourge, I thought he killed Mirage there, but let me go back, let me just focus on Scourge for a second. Scourge, a little bit disappointed with him in the fact that there was really no depth behind his character, other than that he is the strongest henchman of Unicron, and when he displays his Unicron, he gets tortured like Unicron could torture Galvatron in the Transformers the movie. But other than that, we learn nothing about Scourge. We learn nothing about who he is, where he comes from, how he came into serving Unicron. All we know about him is that he's Unicron's strongest henchman. Battletrap, his death pretty much literally got spoiled in promos. That shot where we see Prime cut his leg off, he literally gets killed a second later, where Optimus Primal bashes his head in, and then Prime and him get a little joke where Prime was like, "That was my kill," and Primal gives a little chuckle. Primal look great in his, they all look great in, all the beasts look great in their robot modes, and I'm really happy with how they looked. The battling was amazing, very fluid. The CG was great. Noah, taking on the whole Mirage thing. I wasn't the biggest fan of it at the moment because I was worried there's no way that they're going to kill Mirage like this, because Mirage pretty much dies protecting Noah, and then pretty much forms kind of like how Jetfire gave his parts to Optimus. It kind of seemed like reminiscent of that moment where Noah, the little pretty much cannon arm piece that Mirage gives to him earlier in the movie, where he makes the joke where he's like, you don't know what part of my body that came from. That piece, he pretty much builds off of it. Mirage, who's already beat up and like ripped apart because he took shots upon shots of Scourge in the back covering up Noah. He pretty much, Mirage transfers some more of his parts onto Noah, encasing him in like pretty much a mini Mirage exosuit body, and that's pretty much the form we see of him for the last 20 minutes of the movie, or last 15 minutes of the movie. But then at the very end, we see Noah rebuild Mirage into with a bunch of other car parts, and so we don't really get to see exactly what he looks like full in his robot mode, but we see him from behind as he transforms up in front of Toby Nigwe's character, and we see like how he gets revealed there. So we know Mirage is alive. I'm happy to see that he's alive, because I was nervous for a second. There's no way he's about to just give up his body after like well, I don't know. I could have seen him die there, but I'm glad he didn't die. Is pretty much what I'm trying to say. Bumblebee, we don't see him get revived. We just see the energon activate in the ground around him, and then pretty much in a couple seconds later, we see Stratosphere fly over the battlefield and Bee jump out. Bee destroys Nightbird in the air by pretty much turning Nightbird around as Scourge is blasting up. So Nightbird takes a couple shots, which allows Bee to rip off a piece of Nightbird's, armor or wing, and then jam it into her chest and pretty much blow her up in the sky. And Bee sticks the landing, of course. I'm just trying to think of what other significant things. Yeah, the humans definitely could have... I definitely thought the beginning of the movie dragged on the most, where we were getting the human introductions. Like, I felt like after we got the really cool intro with the Maximals, it took forever for the Autobots to show up. It was like... I was like, okay, we got to get something. We got to get something. But then finally we get the scene of... which I really did like, of Toby's character and Noah, as Noah pretty much has to turn to alternative methods of making money via crime to be able to afford for his brother's medical treatments as they're getting turned away from the hospital. Oh my God, this just reminded me, because talking about the brother, because of what happens at the very end. The ending where this guy who I thought was going to be a Sector 7 agent, he pretty much says, "Thank you for saving the country. I know you're working with the Autobots. We want to partner with them." But he pretty much says he's going to cover his brother's medical bills for the rest of his life. And then we get the reveal of who he works for, and it's not Sector 7. It is G.I. Joe. It is G.I. Joe. I wish I was kidding. I wish I was joking. But it's happening. The tie-in is happening. They are, in fact, doing a G.I. Joe collab, probably, with the next movie. I'm not going to comment on that any further. I have no interest in G.I. Joe. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people have no interest in G.I. Joe. I would prefer my Transformers movies just be Transformers, because we haven't even gotten the Decepticons yet. That's my next biggest complaint. Not even a reference to the Decepticons in this movie. The only references we get are when Optimus is talking about wanting to go back to Cybertron to rejoin the ongoing war. So we know that there's still a war going on, presumably, because they've been away for 5+ years. And Optimus blames himself for that. But no mention of the Decepticons, no post-credit scene with the Decepticons. The mid-credit scene we get is talking about recruiting the Autobots to the G.I. Joe initiative, or whatever the hell that is. Come on, man. Come on, Paramount. Like, come on, Hasbro. We know that G.I. Joe is a franchise you have, but it's a dead franchise. Transformers was trending in the wrong direction. Do not attach it to something that is just a weight pulling it downwards. This movie was a great start in the right direction moving back. even though I have my complaints with it. This was a very good movie, amazing action, really good human story, despite there being no need for it. The humans were not just pointless and annoying. But come on, let's get Decepticons in the sequel, because we know Unicron is coming back. They send him away. They're able to thwart his plans. We know he's coming back. Optimus takes out Scourge in a cool way too. He rips off his head just like he said he was going to. He says, "Let me show you how Prime does it," or something like that. And he pins him up against the magma as he's burning him, and he rips off his head. There's some moments between Prime and Primal which are cool. When Primal's talking to Prime the very first time, where he's like, "I was named after you, the legendary warrior." And then Primal's talking to Airrazor about how this isn't like the Prime I thought he would be, which is very cool because it's like these little nods to the people that know the lore and stuff like that. It's cool to see. It just makes you hopeful to think of what they could do in the future with this. Maybe explain it more, go in more in depth with it. But honestly, I'm not sure if they're going to, based off how this movie ended with the G.I. Joe stuff. But overall, let me think. Airrazor was good. The whole thing with Airrazor getting corrupted and then turning and then Primal having to kill her was actually pretty crazy. I definitely was not expecting that to happen. What I was expecting to happen when she got hit by that and we started to see her like wings rust was she was going to realize that she was going to die regardless, and she was going to donate her spark or give her spark up to resuscitate B. But no, she ended up turning, damn near capturing Elena, pretty much bringing the key to Scourge, and then Primal had to take her out, and they did the whole till all or one thing, which they probably said like 8 or 9 times in this movie. But overall, I'm going to give this movie between a 7.5 and an 8. Probably my third favorite Transformers movie overall. Again, this is still subject to change. This is still very raw thoughts. I'm seeing the movie again. At this point, it's within today, honestly, so I'm seeing it again later today. Depending on when I post this, it'll probably be sometime during the midday, but I'll probably be seeing it later tonight at this point. But maybe my thoughts will change again. I'll have that up in a video after. Probably going to be dropping the spoiler review probably before the non-spoiler review, because my first reactions was pretty much like a non-spoiler review as much as I could go into it. But if I have any more thoughts after seeing it again, I'll definitely be posting more videos about it. I'll be posting breakdowns, talking about the ending a little bit more, and just going more into depth about different things about the movie. So definitely subscribe if that interests you at all, and hit the bell notificate to get notifications as soon as my videos go live. But that's all I have to say here today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Likes, dislikes, anything is appreciated. And until next time, peace.